Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is 7S26 Simon, and today we're going to look at Servmon. This is a HackTheBox machine. I actually rooted this yesterday, but I'm going to run through it again today. I already have. This is actually the third time now, but we're going to kind of run through it and just quickly just talk about it really. This is probably one of the first HackTheBox machines I've really done. I don't spend much time on HackTheBox. I normally work on a few other sites, but this was a fantastic challenge. Really seriously enjoyed this one, so I might spend a bit more time on HackTheBox now. So what did I do yesterday? So basically I had the IP of the Servmon box, and obviously the first step was to run a rather basic Nmap scan. Let me just there we go. Okay, so I'm kind of just gonna speed through this really. I'll just show you my kind of thought process yesterday. So what I actually did was I kind of wanted to start at the beginning here. So I just wanted to see whether the FTP service was anonymous, and the way we can actually check for that is we run MSF Console. Just wait for that to load. And just to remind myself, let me bring up the scanner for that. Anonymous FTP. So the way we can check for that is to use this test here, this module in MSF Console. So simply set the remote host to our IP and hit run. The remote port's already set as 21, which is fine. So hopefully this should come back and let us know that the just close that a second. Okay, so we can see here that we've got an anonymous read. So the next step was to go to, I like to use FileZilla personally. So just to type in the IP here at the top, leaving the username password blank because it's anonymous, obviously, quick connect. And if we look over on the right hand side, once this populates with the information, oh, we've got an error right now, could not connect to server. So the problem with this machine, anyone can attest to this who's been on this machine since really it's launched. It's been really, really slow, laggy, and it just often reboots. So the chances are, if I try to refresh this here, the machine is most likely down right now. See, so it is unable to connect. So I'm going to carry on recording the video. Let's see if we can just give it a few minutes, and hopefully this should come back into action, hopefully fairly soon. Just while it's doing that, just let's just go and check the Discord channel, and this is the Servmon. And it's if you check the chat history, everybody has been complaining that the site has just been up and down, but it looks like it's back up, so we can continue with the exploits. So let's hit quick connect. Okay. So at this point, I found out there was two users, Nadine and Nathan. You can download two files. Essentially, they point to Nadine has supplied Nathan with some passwords, and basically Nathan needs to use them in some way. He needs to upload them. So kind of at this point, I figured, well, why not do an actual scan of the use the see if we can get hold of the passwords and obviously use them against maybe this section here. But first of all, we need to actually get the password. So Searchploit should return us some information. If we type in Searchploit NVMS, we'll get an NVMS from here at the top. This is the actual vulnerability we're going to use. It's a directory traversal. So let's have a look. So cat user share exploit DB exploit hardware web apps 47774. Okay, so we can see here that there's a GET request made over to this windows.ini file, and that actually responds with a whole bunch of files. So we're going to actually take that GET request, we're going to copy it, and the actual files themselves, which I downloaded earlier, I've edited the passwords.txt file on your desktop. Please remove this once you've edited it yourself. So she's kind of alluding, Nadine's alluding that she's actually saved the files on the desktop. So we're going to switch over to Burp Suite real quick. And let's just see whether, yeah, still recording, that's good. Okay, let's go over to Burp Suite. Community Edition, it's all you need for this particular task. It's fairly straightforward. So at this point, let's intercept the traffic and let's just see if this works. So let's send that over to Repeater. Let's hit send. Okay, just try one more time. Failed to connect. Okay. I think the site has gone down yet again. So this was kind of the whole running theme throughout the entire challenge, really. I'd say the biggest part of the challenge was actually the site going down, because it really stopped you in your tracks. When you're doing this live, when I was sitting there trying to do the challenge, it was extremely difficult, because when the site goes down, you're thinking, is it something you've done? How long is it going to be down for? And it just really, really, really slows you down, guys. So just have to be super patient with this box. Some of the admins were actually saying yesterday, anyone who has completed this challenge deserves an award just for being patient. So we can actually close down the FTP. We don't need that anymore. Let's just keep trying to refresh the page. Hopefully this will come back online soon. Again, just to maybe waste a little bit of time, let's go back in here. Okay, so there's nothing really interesting going on. It looks quite dead at the moment. Okay, and it looks like the page, oh no, still down. Again, when you watch this on YouTube, guys, just feel free to skip forward a little bit, and hopefully the page should come back online. But that's why we've got the failed error message, because as soon as the site goes down, there's nothing you can do, which is quite disappointing, really. But hey, that's the way it is. The reason for this, as we'll see hopefully a little bit later on, is that you can actually reset these machines and people are just resetting them. Do you really need to? I don't think so. I didn't need to reset it to get root, but people are just constantly, they're stuck, they're not sure what's happening, and yeah, they just reboot the machine, and next thing you know, you just cannot do anything on it. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording, and we'll continue as soon as the page comes back up. Okay guys, after some serious waiting, the machine has finally come back online, so let's go ahead and continue. So we were doing the directory traversal, and here you go, it's now working. So finally, let's see if we can speed through this. So what we actually want to do is we want to go to users, Nathan, desktop, passwords.txt, because that's where we were told they would be. And there we go, we've got the password. So what I'm actually going to do at this point is just minimize that for you. So we've got the password. We need to figure out who they belong to. So at this point, what I actually did was I created a passwords file and also a names file. So in the names, we've got Nathan Nadine, and I'm just going to make a brand new passwords file. Create document, passes for hydra.txt, and in here I'm going to paste in the oops, let's reverse that, save it. So they're the passwords we're going to use. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say hydra, give that a list of usernames, list of passwords, and I'm going to say 10.10.10.184 SSH. And hopefully what's going to happen now, if I've got the syntax correct, which I think I have. Yeah, we found out Nadine is the person we can log in as. So what we're going to do now is SSH Nadine at 10.10.10.184, and we're going to use the password from our password list to get in here. And suddenly we are now able to, look at that user. So let's go into her desktop, and we can see the user.txt file. So you can start to, at this point, start to get flags. I'm not going to show you the flags, I'm not too bothered about it. I just want root access. So at this point, I started looking around the system, and if you scroll up a little bit to the top here and do a dir, if you head into program files and do another dir, we see this NS client. So let's take a look in that folder. And inside here, we can see quite a few interesting files. Let's scroll down. The one we're interested in is actually this NS client ini. So let's do type ns client.ini, and if we look through the file, scroll all the way up, we can actually see a password here, and we can also see that the allowed host was set to localhost. So what this is actually saying, guys, is that in order to access the service, we need to be on localhost. What service is this talking about? It's talking about the service we found right at the beginning on, let me just go back to our nmap scan. Hopefully it's still here. And it's talking about this one here, this, so let's do nmap -p for port 8443, 10.10.10.184. In fact, let's make that again. I did some of this enumeration a little bit earlier on in my first run through. But essentially, what we want to see is, or what you could do, in fact, is ns client 8443, and suddenly you'll start to put two and two together and realize that that URL, that service, is running on it's running on that port. So essentially, we can't really find out much about it, and that's because we need to act as if we are the local host. So what we can do at this point is we can come in and use this command here. I go into more detail on this on my actual write-up. But essentially this is port forwarding. So passwords obviously remain the same. So let's log in here. And what we actually now want to do is we want to start uploading our malicious files, if you will, because what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and go over to, now we're going to go to localhost and actually log in. We're going to log in with that password we got slightly earlier, the NS client password, and we're going to sign in. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go over to settings and we're going to go to external scripts, and this is where we're going to basically create, let's go into default, basic. This is where we're going to create our script. But first of all, what we need to do is we've got netcat.exe and we've also got evil.bat. So if I do a cat, I've just created a batch file which is going to tell the server to connect back to me. And obviously we've got netcat as well. So what I'm now going to do is I'm just going to use my script here to send that over. So evil.bat, send it over to c.temp. And we're going to use Nadine's password to do that. So now, as Nadine, if we go into, we do cd temp dir, we can see we've got evil.bat, evil1.bat, which is also, that's me, and the netcat.exe, because I put that there just previously. So let's hit sign in one more time. Let's go to basic, and what we're going to do is we are going to type in our location of the bat file, so evil.bat. We're going to hit save. We're going to go to changes at the top and hit save configuration. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the console. We're going to get netcat listening, so netcat NLVP 4444. And then we're going to hit default because that's where we've just been and created our script. Hit run. And then if we go to our session, we can see we are running as the system privileges. So we can at this point go into the C drive, we can go into users, we can go into cd add administrator, dir, cd desktop, and the root flag is in there. So everybody, thanks for watching. I hope this has been useful. Again, apologies, I couldn't get root immediately. It's again, people are battling to get their sessions working, because essentially once you've got that step, you're good to go. But it looks like you can only have one session at a time, so that's the issue there. Anyway, we are root, so that is the end of the tutorial. Thanks for watching.